And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
Well, here we are, episode 200. My God, Josh Thompson, we have made it to 200. I cannot believe it has gone by that fast because, see, working with you is that easy. Look at that compliment. Oh, my God. It is episode 200 of the Weighing In podcast. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about with fights coming up. We're going to preview a couple of the fights on. There you go, baby. Come on. Why'd you stop it, Dave? Why'd you stop it?
Had to get it in there.
Oh, that's right. It's going to go on YouTube. We got to be careful. We only allow a couple seconds.
So I think, don't we get 6 seconds?
I think it's 10. I think it's 10, but I think we should just be careful.
I'll pull some strings. All
right, there you go. So, how you feeling, baby? I know you even went farther. You went from Ireland to LA to do Fight Companion, and you were exhausted. I told you don't drink when you're exhausted. Oh my God, you're still sick.
I'm trying to get rid of this last little. It's like a little bit of congestion in my chest.
If
you had the same thing.
Maybe if you ever slept, you might not get sick.
John, you know I'm a fucking goer. That's one thing John knows. I go. Like my car picks me up tomorrow morning for the Florida show at 3:30 in the morning.
You're crazy.
I got to go straight from here. I'm going to go home, pack, basically stuff some food in my face, fucking take a shower and lay down in bed and get 3-4 hours of sleep by the time we get out of here. I'm like, shit, man, I'll be exhausted. So good thing we're going to Florida. It's warm. I don't have to pack too much clothes, just some shorts and a couple of t-shirts.
Nothing.
Got to pack a couple of collared shirts because I'm going to be playing some golf while I'm there.
There you go. At
one of the nicest fucking resorts in the world, the Bay Hill. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Which is one of the hardest courses I think I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's the grass, it has that, like, I don't know what kind of grass it's called. I'm not very familiar
Bermuda.
with grass, but it's the thick, fluffy.
The
ball gets in and you never find it.
I know, I hate that.
You see exactly where you hit it and you're like, I know it's here somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
if you don't hit it on the fairway, it's like it could be 6 inches off of the fairway and it's like, where the hell's my damn ball? You know what I started using a red ball when I was playing and it worked better. I could see it.
I could see that. Yeah. The other thing as well is that was the first time I'd ever played at a course that had that real fine, fluffy sand. Jeez, man. You go from not hitting it all out of the bunker, right? It goes like 2 feet and then it folds back in and plugs pretty much in the fluffy sand. Or you fucking skull it to get it out.
Oh yeah,
it's like, and then it's in someone's house in their backyard.
Like, rocket.
Oh my God. And then at Bay Hill they have they've got an alligator there, and his name is Stumpy because he's missing a leg. So he's got one leg that he's missing, so they call him Stumpy. But yeah, he's a big kid. He's probably about 10 foot fucking gator. Jeez, man, I don't know about this.
I want to see a picture of you riding his back.
Nah,
I want you on Stumpy.
I feel about, how I feel about crocodiles or alligators? I feel the same way about sharks. Like, just keep them away from me. Keep them away from me. I'm deathly afraid of sharks, man. But I have, I do. I have this obsession with looking them up and like seeing all the crazy shit that sharks do.
See, because I've done all that stuff. I love sharks and I love swimming with sharks, and I've done it with sharks all the way to great whites, hammerheads, all of them. It's the best. They're awesome. Crazy
I'd have
creature.
A fucking panic attack, man. I don't know what it is about.
It's not like that.
I'm so fascinated by them, though. I'm fascinated by great whites, fascinated by bull sharks. I'm fascinated by all these types of sharks. Just, I'm so fascinated by them.
See, I admit,
alligators.
I do not like swimming up on the surface of the ocean for very long. But if I can go down, I'll be with any shark there is. It doesn't bother me at all. I have no fear of it then. But up
Isn't
top,
it funny though?
Yeah, it's kind of not that good.
It's funny that you say that because as soon as your head pokes above the water, you feel very vulnerable.
No, it's not. You feel vulnerable. You are
vulnerable. You're the bobber. You're the thing that's just fishing up there. Like,
I'm a big seal.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And so then as soon as you poke your head underwater and you can see a good 10, 15 feet out in front of you, you feel a lot safer.
Oh yeah.
But I've just seen too many videos where the water looks a little murky and the scuba divers are swimming and then like the shark bumps his head Like the shark hits his head with his teeth and like lets him know, I see you, buddy.
Yep.
I see you.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Peekaboo.
man, no way. Fuck. That's just near death experience.
Have you seen
No way.
Have you seen the great white called Big Blue
Yes.
or Deep
Yeah.
Blue? I'm sorry, Deep Blue.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I think
Ooh.
it's 22 feet.
Yeah,
It's
about
22 feet.
they
It's a
figure
female,
about
correct?
yeah, female. They figure between 45 and 5,000, 4,500 and 5,000 pounds.
Yeah, it was. She was in the
Hawaii.
Maui area
Yeah.
in Hawaii, and there's a website, not a website, but an Instagram called Juan. I think it's called like Juan Sharks. or
One
something
shark,
like that, or-
yeah.
yeah. I follow
Yeah.
them, and they're always involved
Oliphant.
with the. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yeah, that
Absolutely awesome.
that shark was first seen down in the Guadalupe Islands,
Yeah.
and they just said it was unbelievable. I got to see that sucker.
Well, there's the video of the Juan Sharks Instagram page. I don't know who her name is. I don't read a whole lot of it. I just look like I'm mesmerized by the shark itself. And anyways, and then they showed a video of her swimming next to it. It's a female, I believe. There's a guy and a girl. I think it's a husband and wife.
Yeah,
But the female is swimming next to the shark, to Deep Blue or Big Blue or whatever. I think
Deep
it's
Blue,
Deep Blue.
yeah.
But geez, man, she looked like this can next to
Next to
to
you.
a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, next to a car. I was like, holy shit.
Yep.
That's insane to think. Like, if that thing opened its mouth, it could swallow you completely whole. Just completely whole. Be like, oh, yeah, I just swallowed a toothpick.
Yeah, about
Okay.
it.
All right, anyways, let's get into some
Let's
fights.
get into
man.
actual fighting stuff instead of
Before we get
fighting.
into the fights, though,
We're into
hit the
fighting,
subscribe
not
button
fighting.
on YouTube. Yeah, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the link down below to go to our Clips channel. Hit the subscribe button there, too. We're going to film another Wayne Interjection show today. It's going to be fun for us. And, I'm still trying to drag my ass through this a little bit, guys. I feel like I got a little bit of sleep last night. Felt great. Woke up, got a little bit of rest. Had a ton of meetings today, which was back-to-back that John was late to, a couple of them. Good
That's
job,
because
buddy.
someone said it was canceled.
It wasn't canceled. It was moved. Yeah,
Well,
somebody. I want to say, who's that person that said it was canceled by?
My wife, dude.
Miss McCarthy.
I was out getting some stuff from Home Depot, and she says, "Hey, man," she calls me, says, "Hey, your meeting with your thing was canceled." I go, "Canceled?" She goes, "Yeah, they're moving to another." I said, okay. So the next thing I know is I'm out front doing, blowing leaves all over my yard, and my wife is running out saying, "You're supposed to be on a call. What the hell? You
Yeah.
told me it was canceled."
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's all right. I took the
Damn.
blame.
Damn it, Miss McCarthy.
Oh, I know, man. See, she did me wrong on that.
I'm
one.
like, I was texting
she did
you,
me wrong,
texting her.
Shrek.
I was texting you and her. I'm like, hey, you're supposed to be on this call. And she's like, no, it's canceled. So I sent her a picture of everybody in the Zoom call. She's like, oh shit. I sort of laughed. I was like, hey, it happens. I mean, shit. I think that one time you texted me, said, hey, and I had shitty reception.
Yeah,
I was struggling to get on the call.
it's all good.
All right, look, we're gonna bump into this Bellator situation. You got Cyborg fighting this weekend against Sinead Kavanaugh. Sinead is tough. She got good boxing.
Very
She
good
always
boxing.
gets on me about not giving her the love that she deserves. She deserves a little bit of love. She deserves it for sure. She's got her hands full though. I only see it. I'm not trying to knock anything Sinead does. I think she's a dog. Like in terms of she's got big power in her hands. She will walk you down. She will take a shot to deliver a shot. She is a dog when it comes to being a fighter. But I continue to go back to this. She's going to have her hands full. Cyborg is a different specimen. She walks people down, throws big shots. Now, there is a flip side to that because we have seen with the Amanda Nunes situation, she thought she could bully people around. She got hit with some big shots and she got finished. Okay, that's what happens when you believe that you can just continue to walk through people. Kavanaugh has been known to starch people that have tried to walk through her. And so in that type of situation, it's going to be whoever can push who back and whoever can land the cleaner shots while pushing that person back. But I mean, it's really hard to go against Cyborg, man. It's really hard.
Sure it is. But as you said, here's the truth of the matter when you look at it. The question will be, in my mind, did Chris learn from the Amanda Nunes fight? Because if she learned something from it, it should be, hey, you can't go out and run through people that are good with their hands. And Amanda's good with her hands. And if there's one thing Sinead is, she's good with her hands. Look, she can box with any female in MMA other than maybe Clarissa Shields. She can box with, and she can still box with Clarissa for, I'm not saying she's going to beat her, but she can be with her. She's got good hands. She's got good boxing. She does not mind being hit, and she does have power in her hands. The real question we will find out quickly is how smart is Chris Cyborg, and what did she learn from that Amanda Nunes fight? Because if she's smart, she's going to do what she did against someone like Arlene Blenko. She's going to say, I can bang with you a little bit, but I'm going to be looking for the takedown because I have better skills on the ground than I believe you do, and I'm going to take you down there, beat you up down there, and get my win by being a smart fighter. If Chris works in the stand-up without trying to get that takedown for more than 2.5 minutes the first round, maybe 3 minutes, it's telling you she's not being that smart, because Sinead has the power to put her away. And she can hurt her with a shot, and she can end the fight. So we're going to see. Obviously, Chris is the favorite in it, but it's actually a good matchup, and it really depends on which Chris Cyborg shows up. Is it the Chris Cyborg that wants to just stand and bang and run through someone like you're talking about? Or is it the smart one that we've seen lately that is fighting very well and is not trying to just run through people? She's trying to have a high fight IQ. She's trying to do things in a smart way. She's trying to hit without getting hit. All the things that you want to see from a fighter. That's what she's been doing. And if she continues that, she is definitely the favorite and should come away with a victory.
Yeah, I think if Chris was smart, she'd punch her way into the clinch, press her to the fence, hang on her a little bit, try to get the takedown, dirty box her a lot, kind of keeping her that pressing against the fence so she can make space to land the big shots.
Well, she does that all the time.
She does it all the time. You're right.
She goes through those.
Julia Budd really well.
Yeah, she does what I call the blitz. She'll come in, she'll throw a flurry and force her opponent into the cage, get into that dirty boxing, and hit him with knees, hit him with elbows, and then kind of break away and blitz him again, and go right back into that. And she just breaks people down doing that.
Yeah. If she gets on top of Sinead Kavanaugh, she's going to have a hard time. Sinead is.
Yeah.
So she's got to make sure she's got to keep her back off the ground, try to keep her back off the fence. She's got to be out in that open area with space to throw punches. If she can do that, which is going to be a hard task, but if she can do that, she's got a pretty good chance of clipping her, or at least rocking her, maybe still in a couple, I'd say 2 to 3 rounds. I don't think she's going to win a 5-round fight. I don't think she's going to win every round.
No.
I think she has an opportunity to steal the 3 rounds that she'll need to get the win if she can keep that space, keep her back off the fence, keep the space to let her hands go and throw in combinations and move out of the way so she doesn't get pressed to the fence.
Yeah, she's got to keep her back off the fence, just like you're saying.
Yeah. And then Tyrell Fortune and Linton Vassell.
Man, you take a look at this, and Tyrell Fortune he's great wrestling, but kind of got away from it. It's gone back to it. The real question with Tyrell is motivation and conditioning, because he does seem to get tired in fights, and he's had fights where, guys have been able to stay with him when he hasn't been able to put them away in that first or second round. That third round comes around and he starts to slow down. Linton Vassell is, a beast as far as size and strength, but he's not as fast as Tyrell, in my opinion. And the speed factor is going to be a difference. Linton has got to stay in this fight and hang tough in it. It's not going to be easy for him because he likes to get into grappling situations, and I don't see him out wrestling Tyrell Fortune, which is going to make it tough for him. But he's got the length on it. And he is long, he's rangy, super strong. But it's going to be a tough fight for him with the wrestling acumen of Tyrell Fortune. So
that was a word I don't even know what the fuck it means, but I'm gonna go ahead and believe it means something about wrestling and abilities.
Something like that.
Linton Vassell just needs to, like you said, he needs to put the pressure on Tyrell Fortune, make him fight off of his back foot. If he can do that, we're gonna see if Tyrell Fortune is that type of fighter that can fight through that. Yep. Because right now, I don't feel like he's really been tested. And the one time, I wouldn't say he got tested. He just got clipped.
Yep.
He got knocked out by Tim Johnson. He believed in his boxing a little bit too much. Tim was able to step in, caught him with a nice shot, put him away. That can happen to anyone, especially at heavyweights. But Linton Vassell, he's got the pedigree of fighting a bunch of top guys. Now, he's beaten a lot of top guys. He lost to a couple top guys. But a lot of his career was fought at 205, where he was killing himself to get to the weight. Now he's fighting at heavyweight. I think if he can push Tyrell around and Tyrell can't get a takedown or two, Tyrell Fortune's going to start to second guess himself. Now, I believe the way that you believe. He gives the potential future in the heavyweight division as long as he starts fighting smart.
Yep.
If he starts to utilize that level of wrestling that he possesses, and he starts putting people on their backs, these heavyweights have been known to never get off their damn back once they hit the ground. They're like turtles. As soon as you hit on their back, they just stuck down there for the whole round, just getting mauled and beat up. All you got to do is be a little bit active from the top. And that goes in any organization. There's sure you have a couple hybrids that are out there, with some good grappling off their backs, are able to get back to their feet. But they're the younger generation, like the Tom Aspinalls, the Cyril Gahn. There's some of the other fighters as well that are coming. Tyrell Fortune can get up off of his back as well. There's good heavyweights that can come on and get up off their back. Moldavsky is another one of those guys. That they have the ability to get up off their back when they're taken down. They have the ability to get the takedowns and be on top and dominate the position. Tyrell Fortune has all of that ability. Now, whether he fights smart and utilize it, that's up to him. We're going to find out. I think that Tim Johnson fight definitely checked his ego a little bit, which I think is the best thing that could have happened to him.
Yep.
But I think he's going to have to make sure he keeps it in check as he grows and gets better and better every time. What is he? He's 11-1. But none of those guys have had the experience that he's fought that Linton Vassell has.
No, absolutely not. Far as, for the most part, he's never fought anyone with that experience. Close to 30 fights. He's fought for the title, so this is it's a big step, but it's a doable step. But Linton needs to fight the right fight also, because Linton usually does well with his grappling in taking guys down. He's not going to be taking Tyrell down. So instead of thinking about getting the takedown against him, I want to keep him from getting the takedown and make him really work hard for it, frustrate him, and make it to where he gets tired from it. Then start implementing your offense.
No, I agree. Yep, I agree. He's going to have to do something like that, though, early in the fight to make Tyrell work hard.
But the next fight, this is the fight. This is the one that I'm looking forward to, because both of these
fight of the night.
Man, I'm telling you, it should be, because Aaron Pico against Justin Gonzalez. Justin Gonzalez is a dynamite wrestler. He's very good with his hands. He's a good fighter. And Pico is on fire right now. He is fighting at a level far beyond anything he did in the past. His fight with Aiden Lee was fantastic. He was a savage going after things in that. And we just saw Aiden Lee fight, and you saw how good he was and what he did in this last fight. He is a sniper from the outside with his stand-up, and he's good on the ground. And he had zero offense. Pico was taking him down at will, was going for submissions. Aiden Lee was stopping a lot of them until finally he just couldn't stop anymore, and the Darce choke worked. But he worked his way out of some great submission attempts. And I have a feeling Justin Gonzalez is going to have to do that same thing somewhere in here, because, look, speed is on Pico's side. He has now got the idea of how to mesh and take all of that skill that he had and make it work in unison. He's not just a wrestler wrestling, or he's not just a boxer boxing. He's able to take those skills now, mesh them together, and chain those things to the point where he's a damn threat right now. He is that good.
Yeah, he has definitely came into his own, and we had talked about this forever. I said, look, in the beginning, there was a lot of questions that needed to be answered. And he was struggling.
Well, you know why he was struggling.
Yeah, he was struggling because he had too many chiefs in the kitchen, or too many chefs in the kitchen, that kind of situation.
Could be a chief too.
Yeah, it was just too many people trying to pull him in different directions. Being a young talent at 19, 20 years old when he came into Bellator, that was the problem. Finally, he got with a camp where he didn't have to leave anywhere, and he loves that Albuquerque living. Like, he loves it. He loves horses. He loves to be around those type of that type of atmosphere. It worked out perfectly for him.
Now he's a dad.
Now he's a dad. He's his wife is absolutely amazing, and I've met her several times. We spent a couple times on some trips together with Aaron and everybody, the whole family. Absolutely amazing people. But like there was a lot of hype coming into his career. He had some really ups and downs in the beginning of his career. He settled in Albuquerque, signed with Ali, got a management that just said, hey, you need to stick with one gym, find a location, and let's set you there. He before he was traveling around and location. I'm going to go to jiu-jitsu with Joe Daddy Stevenson over there. Then I'm going to go to Ruka and hit mitts over there. Then I'm going to go to, so-and-so and do boxing
Body
down at
Shop,
Freddie
do
Roach's.
wrestling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to go to Body Shop and do wrestling. It's like, okay, look, all this stuff, it all seems great in theory. Okay, but because I think he was trying to follow the GSP way. GSP would go to Henzo's, then he'd come back, he'd go to TriStar, then he'd go do something over there and do something over there. Not when you're trying to first learn all this stuff.
Yeah.
Go and learn the basics of everything, of chaining it all together, and then start getting better. And GSP, he was with one gym for the beginning, and then he was kind of bouncing to another gym. He was at Greg Jackson's for a little bit.
Yep.
But then as he started finding little holes in his game, he started going to different locations to fix those holes. Aaron got with the right gym. Greg Jackson's gym is the perfect location for him. They've got a little bit of everything there, and it fits his mold perfectly. Now, what they have done, when I'm talking about the level in which the answers that needed to be answered was, like you said, he was boxing or he was wrestling, but he wasn't doing the two things together. Now he is so damn good just in the last 3 fights. He now has vicious, nasty ground and pound. For someone who's got some pop, He's got pop on the feet, but not every time does that pop on the feet translate to pop on the ground.
Good point.
His pop on the ground is nasty too. He's got heavy hips, pushes in real well, big shots from the top, not a whole lot of submission threat from the way he delivers his shots. And he works the body as well as the head, controls the feet. He's doing a fantastic job. When people think they can sit up on his legs and take him down, that shit ain't happening. He's got great takedown defense, obviously, as everyone knows. But now you add to his arsenal is the submissions, from the anaconda choke to the Darce situations. He was hitting some guillotines out of there as well. He was attacking everything. When you get back to the feet, his boxing is nasty good. He's got really good boxing. He's gotten smarter now. If you go back and watch the way he fought Henry Corrales, horrible.
Oh,
Just let the machismo get into him and just like, oh, I'm going to knock you out. And now that's not how he fights. He got into a couple clinch situations, landed his shot, circled out, and threw some more boxing or got the takedown. He's good, man. I mean, outside of maybe potentially getting stuck in a guillotine on a shot or something like that, which I can't say it can't happen, but he has developed his wrestling, his real wrestling, to an MMA style wrestling where he turns the corner real fast, hits the crotch, gets the lift, the takedown, all of those things, which is less, that shows less chance of being submitted. He's developed into the fighter that I think a lot of people would always knew that he would if he was with the right camp.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. Right now, from everything that we've seen, in the cage, what I hear from, what's going on at Jackson Winks, he's on fire right now, and he's going to be hard to stop because now he has several things. First off, his confidence is back, but it's a real confidence because before he knew, I don't really know what I'm doing. Now he has an idea of what he's doing. And the one thing that Greg Jackson has done for him, and a lot of people won't understand this when I say it. Greg he's taught him how to fight. And fighting is not always with your hands, and it's your mind, and understanding what to do in the fight, when to do it, how to handle things in the fight. That's one of the things that Greg Jackson has done for Aaron Pico, and it shows. It's showing in his maturity, and it's showing in his ability to go after his opponent, to pressure them at times. He sees when the opponent is backing off, and he understands it now. It's just a huge difference, and I think you're going to see just great things from him.
We talked a lot about Aaron Pico, but what about his opponent, Justin Gonzalez? How does he win this fight?
If you're Justin Gonzalez and you're looking at it, his last
12-0, John. We got to give him some credit, man. We got to give him some love.
Absolutely.
Got to give him some love. He's 12-0.
He's fantastic, coming from LFA, came into Bellator. He fought Taiwan Claxton. It was a good fight. I thought Justin won it. It was tight. It wasn't, he ran away with it. But Claxton's a good wrestler. But when you look at Justin is a grinder. He's a guy that keeps on stepping forward, and he's gonna, it's gonna be interesting. Is he gonna be able to step forward against Aaron Pico in the stand-up? If he does, that's good for him because Pico's a step forward guy. So that means that Pico's now on his back foot. His wrestling is actually really good and really good as far as MMA wrestling. He shoots at the right times. He changes levels the right way. He drives and he turns the corners. And if he gets the guy against the cage, he doesn't just sit there on a single leg. He'll switch his hands back and forth, single leg, double leg. He'll come to a high crotch. He'll do a lot of good things. So He is good, but this is the most athletic opponent, the most difficult opponent he has ever faced. So we'll see what he can do with it.
You think Pico's more athletic than Taiwan Claxton?
Yes.
You mean he's more skilled? I wouldn't say he's more athletic.
He's more athletic.
Skilled.
I think Taiwan is athletic.
If I was to say, hey, Taiwan Claxton, go out there and race Aaron Pico in a sprint. Taiwan Claxton wins. If I say Taiwan Claxton, I'm going to hand the ball off to you and you go run, and Pico, you run the ball. Taiwan Claxton's going to get there first, and he's going to knock over some people when he runs through them. Taiwan Claxton's good.
Why are you making Taiwan Claxton a football player?
He's more athletic than Aaron Pico, but Aaron Pico is the more skilled.
More skillful
in boxing and in wrestling, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I think Justin Gonzalez at 12-0, he's got a lot at stake. You know, I mean, there's that aura of being undefeated coming in. This is a big step up in Aaron Pico for his competition, and I think for Justin Gonzalez, it's definitely a huge step up for him. This is a perfect opportunity for both fighters to shine and put themselves on the next level of for fights. So I know Aaron was already there for a little bit because of his name when he first started, but now he's reinvented himself in there. And then Justin Gonzalez coming off of a win against somebody who was being highly touted in Taiwan Claxton with the flying knees and, you know, and coming into the bantam, was it the
featherweight,
the featherweight tournament. He's been there. He's fought a lot of top guys. You know, he came out short against a couple of them, but I think in this situation, we're going to see just how good Justin Gonzalez is because he's a dog. He's somebody that he's not going to back up. He's going to put some pressure on him. His kicks and punches are going to come from a different angle.
Yep.
But I really believe that Aaron Pico is going to utilize his wrestling, press him to the fence, he's going to have to take him, he's going to get the takedown anywhere he wants. But he's going to keep him pressed against that fence. He's going to ground and pound him. Or if he pushes him out to the middle, he's just going to control the ankles and the knee and the shins and land some nasty ground and pound. And when Justin gets up, I think it's going to be a different type of fight.
Yeah,
because Pico, I look at the speed. I would give maybe the speed to Gonzalez. I definitely give the power though to Pico. But the fact that he's 12-0, and I know that that Aaron's 11. He's got 11 fights. But he's 8-3. But I'm saying it comes down to that type of experience. Though I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Justin Gonzalez in the MMA true experience because some of Pico's fights, because of the fast knockouts, whether it was him or whether he was doing the knocking out or he was getting knocked out himself, a lot of that stuff happened in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
And so the actual in-cage experience, he doesn't have a lot of. Justin Gonzalez has quite a few fights that have went the distance and has had some great fights. So a little bit more experience. Plus, he's come up over years fighting MMA, training MMA, whereas Pico boxing here, wrestling here. I just want to erase the beginning portions of Pico's career. You know, maybe even some of the wins that he got.
Can't do that.
The two of them together. Yeah, you can't, but you'd like to sometimes. So I would say more of the MMA experience, even though they're very equal in amount of fights, I'm going to give to Justin Gonzalez. So you should expect a couple little tricks to come out of Justin Gonzalez if he's going to get this win. But I'm going to lean towards Aaron. Obviously, Aaron's my boy. I'm a little biased when it comes to all this stuff. He's a great kid, and I think just all the hype around him was warranted. Just got to make sure that now I know that he's at a good camp. You're seeing it. You're seeing it rise to the top right now. But this right here, like you and I have talked about, this should be fight of the night.
Yeah, it should be. This is a great matchup.
Arlene Blankow versus Pam Sorensen.
Yeah, I look at that one. Pam Sorensen's a grinder. She's someone that likes to take the fight to the ground, be in the top position. I'm not too sure she can get Arlene Blankow down. Arlene Blankow has learned over time. Look, she started off as a boxer because she came from a good boxing background, but over time, Jackson Wink has really helped her with her takedown defense. I know some of the camps she's had in Australia, they were helping her, James Tahuna and stuff, but I'm not sure that Pam Sorensen can get her down. And if there's one thing I'll say about Arlene, she's got fast hands still, and she's got pop in her hands, which a lot of women do not have. That one punch, I can put you on your ass power. She's got it. And Pam's going to have to deal with that when she comes in to close that distance, try to get her to the ground. She is not an easy person to get to the ground now. So this is going to be a rough one for Pam, in my opinion, as far as getting it to where she wants. She's going to have to walk through the fire to get that fight where she needs it to be to get her win. So that's always one of those, can she do it?
You brought up a good point, though, with Arlene. She, after her last fight, she never went home back to Australia. So she stayed in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where Greg Jackson's is, and she's just been improving ever since then, getting better. Training with Holly Holm, training with some of the other females that are there, just constantly trying to get better at not just her striking, using the kicks, but as well as her wrestling defense. So do I think that she has the edge? Absolutely, I think she has the edge. I don't know if Sorensen can get her down. I don't think so either. It's going to be a dogfight. If she does, how much energy does she expend to get the fight to the ground? Yep. And Arlene having the experience of having fought top level females, she'll be able to probably pop back up. And she's got that drive and that push right now that she's can be fully committed and focused to being a fighter. And so that being said, I don't know if Pam Sorensen can actually get her to the ground and hold her down. That's next. And when she does, how much energy does she spend if she can't get her to the ground? That puts more pressure. People, I want you guys to understand, if we're listening to this, is when you don't get a takedown or you do get a takedown, they pop right back up. It just wears on you mentally. Like, man, I just worked really hard for this takedown and they just popped right back up. And they're not going to be as tired because to them, there was success from stopping that takedown or getting back to my feet right away. So that in their mind is a positive thing. It doesn't drain you as much as the negative thing of saying, hey, they got back up. Shit, I got to take them down again. That drains on you mentally. It's no different than if you hit someone with your best shot and they just smile at you and walk forward. You're like, oh shit, mentally that starts draining on you. Or if you're rocking somebody and they're not moving backwards and they're walking forward still and you're like, man, I'm hitting this person with everything I got and they're not going backwards, or that can give you more and more situations. But Arlene, I think she's got the faster hands. She's got the better boxing, the cleaner boxing, I should say.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to have to takedown defense like you're talking about. So Pam's going to have to make sure that she's not overexpending that energy, getting this fight to the ground and being stuck on the feet, trying to take shots from Marlene Blanco.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Steve Mowry, what is he? 6'10", 6'8"?
6'8".
6'8" versus Rakim. We thought it was Rakim.
Yeah.
It's Rakim
Cleveland. Yeah, I've watched Rakim fight multiple times. He was in the PFL.
Well, his fight just went viral with that head kick. So I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen it like 1,000 times now on social media. It's everywhere of his head kick knockout of his last fight.
Yeah, it was. I watched that whole fight when it happened and stuff, and he was doing a good job in that fight. He got the fight down a couple times. Rakim is better in the stand-up. He wants to be in the stand-up game. The ground is usually not the place that he likes to fight. If you look at his record, a lot of his losses are all from submissions. He got a couple of submission losses to guys like Vinny Magalhaes, which, hey, that's my point. That's gonna happen. If you're fighting Vinny, you're either gonna, hit Vinny and he's gonna go down or he's gonna submit you. So it's just
he's got two losses to Vinny.
That's what I said.
He's got two losses to Vinny. Yeah, and he's got to Victor Nemkov,
but he went the distance with Nemkov.
Yeah.
So it was a decision and stuff. So I look at him, and he's got good hands. The guy that he's fighting has got decent hands. Steve Mowry is, his stand-up is really coming along.
Very stiff.
Yeah, but he fights tall, but very stiff. Exactly.
He is
like
tall, John. That's why.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
6'8", John.
And he fights. Well, a lot of guys that are tall don't fight tall. They come down to their opponent. So he does fight tall, but on the ground, Steve Mowry's good.
Yeah.
And he's got good submissions, and he has submitted a lot of people. And if he gets in the top position on Rakim, that's going to be a problem for Rakim Cleveland. He cannot allow Steve Mowry to be in the top position on him. If he gets to that, he has got to burn gas in getting his back off of the ground. If he doesn't, he's going to end up walking out of that cage as a loser.
Yeah, what I've seen from Rakim is that he's put on a lot of weight.
Yep.
And
not great weight.
When I talked about heavyweights not being able to get up off their backs, he's pretty much the token person that I'm talking about. Okay, like he's put on the amount of weight that he shouldn't put on. Like you said, it's not good weight, but he is still fast, still has got power.
Yeah,
and he still can take a shot.
Yes.
So those are all things to be desired when you're a heavyweight. If you can take a shot and you can deliver a shot, and if you're big enough to be able to stuff a takedown and just put your weight on him, make him carry your weight and circle around, because he's okay with being on top.
Yeah.
It's when if he's on bottom is where he's lost.
Yes.
And that goes for a lot of heavyweights. I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about a lot of heavyweights. A lot of the heavyweights in the UFC and in Bellator and other organizations,
you got
not a lot of them get off of their backs.
No, but you got to figure, even in the gym, you got to put yourself in bad positions in the gym, and a lot of heavyweights don't. because they're so used to dominating in the top position, and they say, I'm not going to be on my back. They don't work it that often. And that's
some damn Cormier shit right there.
Yeah, that's what happens. If somebody, I'm getting up. Well,
that guy.
You better, but if you end up underneath and they keep you there, and sometimes they can keep you there, you're in trouble. So, this goes back to, mindset, and there's not a whole lot of heavyweights that sit there and go, I'm going to take the time to learn how to fight off of my back, because they all look and say, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, I understood when DC and Kane said they weren't going to be there, okay, because they're really good wrestlers, DC being a 2-time Olympian. But when you get there, though, you got to know how to get the fuck up.
Yeah.
And luckily for DC, when he was first coming around with Kane, he wasn't a better wrestler than DC, but he had the cardio and the tenacity to try and get those takedowns, and he was pushing on DC every second. So that made DC work even harder on trying to stuff the takedowns. And when he did get them, man, Kane made DC pay to get back up. He was putting them on him. But DC was a stud. I think that's a big reason why he was so successful, was because he had Kane to help him through, like in terms of the pressure.
Oh, no doubt about it.
The level of wrestling. It was great to see those two guys come up together.
And he also, he also had the confidence. At the time, Kane was the best heavyweight in the world for a long time.
Yeah.
And so if I can go with him, I can go with them.
Yeah, no, for sure, no doubt, absolutely, no doubt. Steve Mallory, he's got to loosen up with the stand up. He's got to make sure he lets his hands come out a little fluidly. He's real stiff, but he's a big guy. I don't know if you can make a guy that's that tall, that big, look relaxed, But yeah, I mean, he's got to make sure that if he gets taken down early, I see this fight ending in the first round.
Yeah.
Look, that's the main card right there. But is there any other fights you want to talk about? Obviously, Valerie Loretta, we'll talk about her a little bit. Cody Law, he's a stud, 4-0, comes from America Top Team.
Roman Feraldo is also a stud.
Yeah, Feraldo's a stud as well, 5-0. And then Bruna Ellen, she's just fun to watch. She's got a great style of fighting.
Same with Desiree Yanez.
And then,
she's a dog.
Dirty Dez.
Dirty Dez is a dog, man. I like that.
Yep, Dirty Dez is a dog. So, these are people you guys, when we talk about, hey, I'm not trying to blow sunshine up your ass, but those are some of the fighters you guys should be looking to watch, fight. Valerie Loretta, she's 3-1. She has a loss, but she's got a couple flat highlight reel knockouts. I think 2 of them have made Sports Center. She's got some power for such a small frame, and she delivers big shots. She got a very interesting style of stand up. It's more of that Stephen Thompson style. Throws a lot of side kicks, a lot of back kicks, and she's got pretty good hands, and she's not afraid to throw them.
From a Taekwondo background, she's got really good hands.
Yep,
and she's
power.
aggressive. So
yeah, she's got some power. And then Cody Law, he's just a stud all the way around. He's got good wrestling pedigree.
Good
and
stand-up.
His submission attacks and his submission attacks are good. He doesn't rely on his stand-up a little bit. He doesn't as much, but he uses his stand-up to get the fight to the ground. When he gets to the ground, he dominates from a lot of these positions. He's quick. And when we had talked to Dan Lambert, he's like, look, out of every prospect that I have coming out of my gym, he's the number one guy. And that says a lot, coming from Dan Lambert.
Coming from Dan.
So, good stuff. And then that fight, Roman Feraldo, what do you think of him?
He's good. He's good. He's got a great ground game. He's got good stand up. He's a handful for anyone. I'm just looking, and I've watched Robert Turnquist, who he's fighting. Fight. He's a good fighter, especially when he is doing well and he's the hammer man. He just keeps on building and getting better and better. We'll see if Roman can stop that and turn it around on him and make it to where he's not feeling as confident in the fight. A lot more experience with Turnquist. So right now, Feraldo's on fire, though.
Yeah, and then don't sleep on that Bruna Ellen and Dirty Dez fight.
That's a good fight.
Dirty Dez Yanez fight. Yeah, that's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a fun fight. Bruna's going to have a little bit more of the cleaner, crisper stand-up. But I think if Dirty Dez can make it a dirty fight, then she's going to have a good chance. She's going to start slowing Bruna Ellen down, make it easier to hit Bruna Ellen, maybe get a takedown, get on top, dominate the position. So that should be a fun fight. I don't think that's the first fight of the night, though. I think that's pushed up.
I doubt it. I think that's actually the
main event of the prelims, I believe. Well, hey, guys, we do a show called Wayne Interjection. There's a quick little game that we like to play in the middle called This or That. And John and I go back and forth over what we like the most. It's called This or That. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Check this out. We're going to show you this short little clip in the middle of this show to see if you guys like it. If you guys like it, there's a link down below in our main channel. You click that link. That'll take you to our clips channel. Hit the subscribe button there, as well as the notification bell, and this will drop tomorrow.
We're going to play This or That. And you guys know we love to get our fans involved, so thanks to all the fans that gave suggestions for this or that. Let's go. The first one, Kamaru Usman or GSP?
GSP.
GSP.
Oh,
Sweet or savory?
sweet.
Savory.
I like saying sweet.
Sweet.
12-6 elbows or knees to grounded opponents?
Both.
Knees to the grounded opponent. Knees to the grounded opponent.
5 judges or 3 judges?
3.
No judges.
Doesn't change.
No judges. 3.
Early stoppage or late
Early.
stoppage?
Early.
Late stoppage is bad for the fighter.
Anderson Silva or Israel Adesanya?
Anderson Silva.
Izzy.
Oh, you are just horrible. Anderson
Izzy.
Silva all day long. The
Izzy's
spider.
Izzy already beat him.
Oh, yeah.
Jeans or sweatpants?
Sweatpants.
Sweatpants.
The Ultimate Fighter or Dana White's Contender Series?
Neither.
Oh shit. No, I don't like
No,
either
Dana
one.
White's Contender Series because it's real fights and it's not all the bullshit with it. It's just fights. Dana White's.
I like the history of the tough, so I would go with the Ultimate Fighter.
Too much bullshit.
Jiu-Jitsu or wrestling?
I know what he's going to say. Jiu-Jitsu.
Wrestling.
Do it.
No way.
I love both, though.
Podcast Dave or Podcast Gian?
Podcast Dave.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with podcast Jamie.
Oh, that's weak.
No, podcast Dave. Sorry, Gian. Podcast Dave.
Open scoring or close scoring?
Oh my God, I think I'm
Close.
going to actually go with open now. I'm tired of seeing some of these scores. I'd like the fighters to know, I guess, so I'm going to go with open.
Closed.
Veggie pizza or Impossible Burger?
Veggie pizza. Who the hell gets a veggie pizza?
I get a veggie pizza and I add meat.
Thank you. What's an Impossible Burger? Is that a veggie burger?
Yeah.
Tofu.
Oh
and
my
fake food.
God! I'll take
Yeah,
a
it's like
veggie.
beans.
Then
and
I'll
stuff.
take a veggie pizza.
Power or volume?
Power all day long. Power.
Yeah, power.
Hamza
That
or
coming
Islam?
from a volume guy.
I never had power. That's why I wish I had it. Oh,
Hamza or Islam?
Islam.
I gotta go with Jemayev.
You shut your whore
You
mouth.
shut your whore mouth.
What the hell?
Monster or Bang?
Monster.
First round Chandler or first round McGregor?
McGregor.
Okay, well, I don't understand this question. What do you mean?
Who's better
Who
in the
do
first
you-
round?
Yeah, precisely.
Oh, who's better in the first round?
Chandler or
Who do you like? Who do you like better in the first round?
Chandler.
Judge round by round or judge by the entire fight?
Both. Should do it both.
Yeah. Honestly,
That's the way
both.
it should be judged. Yeah, it should be done by both. Okay, I'm
It,
gonna go with
it's got to be
entire
round
fight.
by round. Look,
Yeah.
both work and both fail, so it's tough.
Speed or fight IQ?
Fight IQ.
Fight IQ all day long.
Be there live or watch at home?
Be there live.
175 or 165?
165.
Both.
165.
165.
All right, and that wraps up this or that. Big John wins.
Yeah, baby! That's the way to do it, podcast Dave.
Okay, let's get into the UFC, buddy.
Oh,
Let's go.
you got to start off with the main event of the evening. Max Holloway, who I think we've both said kind of good things about. I don't know. Against
Oh,
Yair
yeah.
Rodriguez, who is possibly your favorite fighter of all time.
Ah.
Well, you know,
I'm surprised he made it to the fight.
well, I just look at it this way. Sometimes, you get those, matchups where it's, Yair's had some great fights, and then he's had, some fights where he had some problems. He had the Korean Zombie fight, which I thought he was losing, and then he won it with the last,
He was getting his ass
last second elbow that knocked Korean Zombie out. Hey, that's the whole point. he kept hanging in there and doing things and got the win at the end. So, look, we know he's got skill. He's good.
Yeah.
Does he have the skill to stay with Max Holloway, though? I don't think so.
No.
Okay. That's about the way I look at it.
No. I think he's fun.
He is.
From the moment I first saw him, I think his first fight in the UFC was in Mexico City, right? Was that his first fight in the UFC?
Well, he was wasn't he in the Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, but I mean, like the first.
I think
fight
you're right, Josh. Oh no, wait.
It was the Verdum one.
Yeah, but he was in Ultimate
No,
Fighter.
yeah, it was Verdum and Kane. It was the one. It was in Mexico City. That's the one that I saw.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that would have
he
been.
fought Charles Rosa.
It would have been
I saw
188
one of
or
them.
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways,
180 was the first one. That's the one we did.
Yeah.
That was Hunt and
Verdum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, from the first time I saw him, I was a fan right off the bat. I loved everything about him. I was like, this kid is amazing. I love the way he fights, the aggressiveness, the flashiness, the fun. Didn't get tired, kept coming after it. I was high on him. And then, he started pulling all the stunts with all the, I'm going to fight you. No, I'm not going to fight you. Just, I can't deal with that. Anyways, to move on, his athleticism, his ability, you can't deny that. Okay. And the fact that he'll continue to fight to the last second as he proved against Korean Zombie.
Yep.
Great point, John. That was a great point. But when it comes to the matchup, he was losing to Korean Zombie. And I think I had him losing every round. He might have won one round in that fight.
I don't think I had him losing every round, but he was losing.
Yeah, he was losing. But when I look at if I was, and I'm going to go back to MMA math. If I was to match up Korean Zombie and Max Holloway, it wouldn't be a close fight. And Max Holloway with the speed, the reach, the range, his boxing ability,
distance control,
mixing up the kicks, the distance control, the conditioning, the cardio, the pace of pushing that young kid around. I think he's just going to maul Yair. Now, maybe Yair is going to prove me wrong. He might. The kicks might be a factor.
Yep.
I think if he takes a page out of the champ, Volkanovski out of Volk's book, if he takes a page out of Volk's book and starts landing the legs, it could change the tempo of the fight and make it easier for him to catch Max. In the transition, it's gonna be harder for him to put weight down on the punches. If he can do that early in a 5-round fight, he'll have a chance. But Max is a stud, man. I just have a hard time going against Max anytime, because he's so damn good. And was his last fight Calvin Kattar?
Yep.
He had a fight after that.
Nope.
Yeah, so his last fight was Calvin Kattar?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, coming off that type of performance, I mean, he's got to be thinking, I'm just going to get better from here, and he's a stud. He's just an absolute stud. He just ran into somebody that's a buzzsaw, man, a small little buzzsaw called Volk. So I think Max going to walk away with this fight's going to walk away with it pretty easily. The leg kicks will be a factor, though.
Yeah, if there's one thing that the Calvin Kattar fight showed is, look, you've got to do more than just box with Max Holloway. You got to present more problems for him, because if you don't, he's going to get into a groove and he's going to just start, picking you apart. And he's got that skill. And when a guy is able to talk to the commentating table while avoiding punches and then throwing his back, that he's in a groove and he's feeling pretty good. But I do think that the kicks of Rodriguez, like you're saying, I think they're super important. I think he has got to continue those, and I think he needs to continue them down on the low calf and up high. Stay away from the mid-range with Max, because he counters off of him very well to mid-level. But I agree with you. I think Max Holloway runs away with this fight.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. When we talk about fighters kicking to the head, kicking to the body, and then kicking to the legs, the reason why we say, like in this situation with Max is very good at blocking and throwing right back.
Yep.
Now, if you throw head kicks, there's more of a focus on blocking it and making sure it didn't get through than there is on countering. If you throw just to the body, like to the arms of it, they will sometimes just block it with their body and dig into it and then counter off of that really well. So in the leg kicks, it's one of those things, check and counter, or just take the kick and then counter, so that Max does that very well, that John was pointing out. Those are the type of things that when we talk about these things, you guys pay attention and listen to, is because the details make a big difference. I think he should kick. If I'm Yair, I'm throwing stuff to the head, because you're gonna, eventually you may be able to catch him. That could end the fight. That, or he's gonna spend so much time making sure that I'm blocking him, or he's gonna make sure he's blocking him properly so he doesn't get kicked in the head. And then the leg kicks. If you kick to the body, he'll catch the kick and throw and counter, or he'll just take it and throw and counter. And that could end up, you could end up getting him with some big shots from Max.
Yep. I agree.
All right, so Ben Rothwell versus Rodrigo de Lima.
Yeah, Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. God, you look at this, and Ben Rothwell is he's a brute, but he's not the fighter that he was before because he has really slowed down. He was never a fast guy, but he's really slow now, and he's taking a lot of damage in his fights now. I would tell you that De Lima he's much faster. The problem with being much faster against Rothwell is Rothwell can take a beating. Rothwell is a zombie, man. He will take shots and keep just walking down. And if there's one thing that I've seen out of De Lima's gas tank is not very big. He is a guy that is a fast twitch, and I'll give you a blazing first round. Yeah, he's got power, but I'll tell you what, Rothwell can take a shot still. Yeah. And if De Lima, and this is my whole point, if De Lima does not get this done within the first round, maybe first minute of the second round, Rothwell's going to start eating him up. He's going to slow him down, get on top of him, beat on him, or just beat him up on the feet up against the cage and stuff. So I look at it, De Lima's he's got to get it done, man. He's got to go after him, hit him, make him take the big swings that he likes to take and stuff. But Rothwell's he's a big man. You're talking a guy that cuts down to that 265 a lot. By the time he's walking in that cage, you're talking about a guy that's 6'5", 285 pounds, and can take a shot. You don't see a whole lot of people putting Ben Rothwell out. The worst you ever saw anybody beat Ben Rothwell for the most part was Kane. Kane picked him up and dropped him on his butt throughout the 3 rounds and beat him up on the ground, but Rothwell stayed with him the whole time. I mean, he was in that fight for a long time. So, he can fight. He's a tough dude.
No, he's tough. He's definitely been around for a long time. He's trained with some of the old school legends, man. He was with Gan McGee. He was with Mike Whitehead. He was with all those big guys.
He was at Militich Fighting Systems for a while.
Yeah, exactly, with Tim Sylvia and those guys. So, all right. So Philippe Lins, is his fight still on? I think it's off the card now.
I don't know.
It says they have it listed as unknown fighter. So we're gonna skip on that. Felicia Spencer and Leah Letson. Felicia, I'm assuming this is at 145.
Yeah, it's at 145.
Okay. So, what do you know about Leah?
Not a lot. I'm being honest, man. I really don't. She's someone I haven't really watched, so I don't know. I do know that Felicia Spencer is damn good on the ground. She's got a great ground game. Her stand-up is okay.
She's had a hard time getting the fights lately to the ground.
Yeah, but who has she been fighting?
That's true.
Let's take a look at, again, how many times do we say, and there's levels to this. And, she came out of Invictus. She was the Invicta featherweight champion, and she's good. But, her last 3 fights have been the problem. And the one that I was not impressed with her performance in it was her fight against, was it Dumont?
Yeah, Norma
Dumont, who just won again, So obviously Norma is not bad in the stand-up and stuff, but she wasn't able to take Dumont down, and so that really caused her problems in the fight. But her fight with Amanda Nunes, come on, what did we expect? But she hung in there. She showed she's got heart, man. She is tough as hell. So
they could have stopped that fight though at any time.
Yeah, they could have. But she's got 3 losses. 2 of those losses, Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get it. She's tough. I think she is tough. I mean, she cut Chris Cyborg, I think, on the forehead.
Oh yeah, with an elbow, man. She had a good one.
Split her open.
Yeah.
She's tough. I don't know much about Leah Letson, but
I don't
she got
either.
her hands full. It looks like Kevin Holland is out from what we understand. So Kyle Dawkins is fighting Roman Dolidze.
Yeah, Dolidze.
He's tough.
I want to just say that I'm glad. I hate to say it, but I'm glad Kevin's out. I didn't think, because look, Kevin got blitzed by that clash of heads.
Mm-hmm.
And how long ago was that?
A month ago?
Yeah.
A month and a half?
It's not enough time. So he needs more time. Give him more time so he can, get his, because that was basic. Dude, he went face first, which means he was out. Now he woke up when he hits the ground. Okay. But man, he was hurt. So
same shit happened to fucking Michael Chandler. Oh, they're not banging heads. Michael Chandler got the takedown and hit his face on the canvas.
Oh yeah, he did.
Fucking almost knocked himself out.
Yeah, you talked about that, but it's, you know, so although I don't want to see Kevin not, having to drop out, I'm kind of glad. Take some more time, come back and fight Dawkins a couple more months down the road. But yeah, his fight against Elise, Dawkins is good. People don't give him enough credit. He's tough. Him and his brother, that would have been a hell of a household. The fights going on in there, that's pretty impressive.
Dad's probably like, just settle out in the street, in the garage.
Yeah.
Go in the
God damn
garage.
it, get out of my living room. Go on the street. Go on the front lawn.
Get in the front lawn. In the front lawn. Yadong Song versus Julio Arce.
Oh,
It's gonna be a good fight.
It is going to be a good fight, but Yadong Song's got power.
Yeah.
Many times you just don't see a guy that in that weight class that has power in his hands, and you can see he's got power in his hands. Now the real question for me is he never seems to start real fast, and he starts a little bit slow, and then he starts to build as the first round goes on and stuff. But I think he needs to come out just a little bit faster in this fight with Julio, because Julio does start fast. He's got good hands. He's got a good overall game. Let's just be honest. So, but I give Song the advantage in the fight.
Yeah, Yadong Song's got a chin on him too. He's got a
Boy,
beard.
he does.
He can take a shot and he delivers it right back, and he keeps coming forward. He's got a gas tank on him. He's someone that will push the pace. He's fun to watch. I'm super high on him. Like in terms of, I don't know if he'll ever get to the top 5 or to the title shot, but he's just fun. Yeah. He's just fun. Where's he ranked at, Dave? Can you pull me up? What is he, 135? He's 145?
Yeah.
Where's he at?
Not ranked.
Nope, not ranked. I mean, he's fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing him if he gets up into that mix there soon. I thought he was 35.
Hold on, double check for you.
Does it say bantamweight?
Oh yeah, you're right, but bantamweight.
Yeah, I was like, I thought he was bantamweight. Yeah.
But also, 15th.
Oh, Song Yadong. Yeah, there you go. Oh, he dropped down one too, so he's below Cody Stamen, but he's number 15. Should be good. Should be a good fight for him. Yep. All right, next fight. The fight that I'm high on is the Cynthia Calvillo fight. I want to see that fight and Andrea Lee.
Andrea Lee?
Is it Andrea Lee, right?
Andrea Lee. KGB Lee.
She did a good job her last fight.
She
had a great performance. Yeah, she's tough. She did a great job her last fight. And then Cynthia Calvillo coming off of a loss, correct?
Yes, she is.
Who did she lose to? I'm trying to remember. Sorry.
Come on, dude. Come on. Think about it. She got taken in
Jessica Andrade.
We talked about it. Don't you remember?
Yes. Yep. And then Chikagian beat her too right before that. Yeah. Ah, man. Yeah, she's tough though. I mean, Cynthia, she's tough. I feel like she just didn't have a place to go during COVID. I don't know where she was at, what she was doing, but because she was at AKA.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. She had just started getting in her groove, training at AKA all the time. And then COVID hit, and it was like, all right. So AKA just shut down. They were trying to do the speakeasy, and it never worked. People kept calling the city on them, kept getting reported. Fucking hate this area when it comes to this shit. It's so garbage. Anyways, look, I love California.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Yeah, but that should be a good fight, man. That should be a real good fight. Andrea Lee just seems like she's a big girl though for the weight. Like she seems like she's
a strong.
Maybe that's what I was looking for.
She's got good stand up. She's got a good ground game. You got to figure, her last fight was she was fighting Shevchenko, not obviously Valentina, but Antonia. And do you remember she had her in the triangle and she switched it to the arm? And Antonia was trying to fight her way out of it. It was a great fight.
Antonina.
I'm sorry. Antonia is what I said.
Let me help you with that.
Antonina, you're right. But that was a great fight, and it was a great you saw the transitions. And if you take a look at her losses in the UFC, yeah, she's had them. I know she lost to Joanna Calderwood. She lost to Roxanne. And then her last one was
Lauren Murphy.
Lauren Murphy, thank you very much.
There you go.
And so,
Yeah, but I mean, look, those are all top level girls. Lauren Murphy
Absolutely.
just fought for the title. Modafari is always in the
Has
mix.
fought everybody.
She's just grinding away. Didn't she used to be an English teacher in Japan?
yes,
She was an English teacher in Japan.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
I remember
was.
when I first ran into her when she first started fighting. Yeah, she was she was an English teacher in Japan. I'm like,
so you're not going to remember this name, but the first time I watched Roxanne Modafferi fight, Dave, pull up her record. You'll see she fought Jennifer Howe.
I do remember her.
Do you remember Jennifer Howe?
Yes.
Jennifer Howe was good.
Yeah.
She had hands, man. She would throw down.
Yeah.
She was
Where was she from though, John?
Utah.
Utah.
She's
Jennifer Maya.
She was with Jeremy
No,
Horn
no.
forever.
No, all the way down, like one of her first fights.
Go down
way
towards her first fights.
towards the beginning.
I know that's a long ways down.
Wow.
Yeah, keep going,
Yeah, there
keep
you
going,
go.
keep going.
Right there,
Jennifer
Jennifer Howe.
There you go.
Boom, and look, she got a win.
Click on her. I'm trying to remember if it's the same girl I'm thinking of. But I do remember the name a lot. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, she got
Yeah, yeah.
2 wins against Jennifer Howe, and I was like, man, and it was all ground at the time. Her stand up her stand up, although a lot of people won't like it now, it's so much better. John Woods has done a phenomenal job with Roxanne Modafferi.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, hold on. All right, I'll tell you a story. Go back to Roxanne Modafferi's thing. I'm trying to remember who she was fighting, and it was in the UFC. God damn it.
I mean, could it go back 2 decades? And
Hey,
still
watch
be
it.
UFC apparently.
Hold on. Stop. You're going too far.
Oh, there's still more UFC fights down there. Raquel Pennington,
No,
Way down there?
Go wrong way.
go up
Up or down?
to the
Go
UFC
up.
fights. Go up to the UFC
Okay,
fights.
stop.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go.
there we go.
So she lost to. What the hell was it? I can't.
Eubanks, Jennifer Maya. Lauren
I can't
Murphy.
remember. But she's fighting a girl. It was a Brazilian girl. I can't remember her name. But it might go to the Invicta right there. Go up a little bit there. There you go. So Priscilla D'Souza. Priscilla D'Souza. She's fighting her, and I'm reffing that fight. John Woods is in her corner, and she gets a mount at the end of the I want to say she gets a mount at the end of the first round, and she's going after her, and she's just like throwing these shots, right?
Mhm.
Round ends, and I stop and get her up, and John comes in, and I said, hey, tell her she needs to put something on those shots if she wants me to be stopping the fight.
Then you must be talking about the Marina Moraes fight because that's the one you reffed.
Okay, then that would have
TKO
been
the
it.
third rounds.
Marina Moraes.
Yeah, it's Invicta. It's
Boom,
Invicta
there you
down
go.
there,
I thought it was
September.
Invicta. Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, she goes and he goes, okay, right? So, second round, she's dominating her, gets mount again, and she's trying to throw punches. What was it? Josh, I'm telling you, man, not one of them could have broken egg, man. Not one of them. And I'm like,
Poor Roxanne.
and I'm like, I can't stop this. Because the girl
crazy.
on the bottom, she's throwing back, right?
Oh, geez.
And Roxanne's trying to throw shots, and I let it go throughout the end of the no one's getting hurt, right? There's just no damage, right? So I go to John Woods as he's coming in. I said, John, you got to tell her she's got to hit harder. He goes, John, she's hitting as hard as she can. I go,
So great.
good point. Good
That's
point.
great.
I ended up stopping in the third when she started elbowing her, but it was like I was like, man, she just got zero power at the time, but she's really come along with it.
She's always like she's one of those throwback fighters that like
She's
what was
a
the kid
wonderful
from
person.
What she is. What was the kid from Australia? He was the first Stophanopoulos or George. Was it George Stophanopoulos? He was from Australia.
Sopolopoulos, like
Yeah, something like that. Anyways,
great
him,
grappler.
and then it was great grappler. Same thing with Modafferi. Gets that like that. Remember they wore the baggier shorts, so
Oh,
they were longer,
Dude,
and then they wore the
baggy
knee
shorts,
braces.
knee braces that are long.
The knee braces that were
ankle-
long, that went down to the middle of
ankle-
their calves, and they wore the ankle shield
braces,
stuff
yeah.
for more grip to soak up the sweat, so you could get some gription.
Yep.
Oh, it was just great, man.
Looked like he was wearing long pants.
yeah. I was just trying to cracking up, man. And I think she'd always try to fight like in a long sleeve rash guard and all this. I'm like, what are you doing? Anyways, all right. So, what other fights on here really interest you?
Oh, I want to see Courtney Casey. I want to see her fight well. She's a good athlete. She's a good fighter. But, if you're going to say could be an exciting and fun fight to watch is Mark Diakese. He's an exciting fighter. He's good on the feet. He's had some losses and stuff against good fighters, but on the feet, he is
Scroll
good.
down, Dave.
He is a dynamite.
Oh,
fighter.
yeah, Mark.
Normally, he puts a big red stripe. He used to color his hair a la someone else. Stripe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He used to color his hair a la someone else.
No. I used to sit. This is a true story. I used to sit in a damn chair to get my hair done like that for at least 7-8 hours. It was there. I was there all damn. Yeah. No. Nuh-uh. Nope. I mean, the one when I had the orange,
you got to be
orange,
kidding
purple, and like dyed blonde, and the rest of it was black. It took me almost 8 hours for that. I was sitting in that damn chair because they have to bleach your hair all one way, and then they do the black. Yeah, so it was like they bleached it all, and then they did the black all around it, and then they left the bleach spot there, and then they colored all the rest. It was forever. People are like, how come you don't dye your hair anymore? I'm like, I got sick of sitting in that damn chair. So ridiculous.
That's why you stopped.
I don't blame you. That's called maturity right there. It's like I'm not wasting time like that again.
Oh man, Dave.
Calm down, John. That's a big word. Maturity when it comes to Josh.
Yeah,
but it should, overall, this should be a
Kellen Williams. Isn't he? Don't they call him like Chaos or something like that? Isn't he the Chaos kid? Something like that. Yeah, Chaos Williams. Yeah, that should be a good fight. So Miguel Baez.
Chaos Williams.
He's 10-1.
Yeah,
he's tough. Gonna be. I think this card has like those kind of couple little sneaky good fights in there.
He's tough.
Thiago Moises, man. He's a
Thiago Moises against Joel Alvarez. That's a good fight.
People don't realize. They don't realize how good he is because he's fought guys like when you fight Islam, like, oh, he got handled, or it was kind of a close fight, but he got handled. I'm like, dude, did you just see what fucking Islam just did? Like, yeah, I'm like, come on, guys, like this kid's good. He's good.
Did to Dan Hooker?
All right, well, all right, buddy. Well, let's get into some news.
There's actually some really good fights on this card.
All right, guys. Now, one of our other sponsors, mybookie.ag. Use the promo code weighing in. Go to mybookie.ag and use the promo code weighing in. Now, if you guys took our advice, you guys made some money this weekend as well. This is another weekend that we've given advice, and there's been tons of people that have been making some cash off of our recommendations off of these fights. We talked about the Canelo fight with Plant. We said potentially what it could happen, and look pretty much is what happened. John called it perfectly. And then in the MMA fights, in the MMA world, we had the Bellator as well as the UFC fights, and we pretty much called all of those as well. We said they'd be tough fights, but they'd be some knockdown dragouts, and they definitely were. We expected some good results, and we had some outstanding fights, but that extra little bit you could have made at mybookie.ag using that promo code weighing in, that would have given you some more money. And also, if you'd used that little QR code right over there, that would have given you some more money for your initial sign up. So go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code weighing in. John and I will be dropping more of these things and more of these tidbits for you guys. So make sure you guys have your opportunity ready for you to make some money at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code weighing in.
So let's talk about the tweet that came out today and then the response that came out after it.
Let's do it.
Michael Chandler sends out the tweet with a picture of he and Conor face to face, photoshopped obviously, just have to throw it out there, and writes 2022, and then Conor responds, and Conor says, "I'm down at some stage for sure. Great fight the other night, Mike. Congrats." Mike replies, "Thank you, sir. It'll be my pleasure. See you soon."
I mean, you brought up a good point. If you lost your last two, you shouldn't be calling anybody out. That's one. Two is, like by the time, like Mike's what, 35? He's 35 years old. Let's say Conor comes back summer of next year. Let's say sometime around September. Is when the fights start to ramp back up. Probably sometime around September next year. Mike's gonna be. I don't know who he's gonna fight between now and then. But he's got to get a win. That's for sure. He's got to get a win. Look, people were commenting in some of my posts that I had, and they're like, "Oh, you were shitting on Mike." No, I wasn't shitting on Mike. I'm just being honest with you guys. He fought stupid. He's good. He's a really good fighter. he has just been known to not fight smart his whole career. But that's what makes him a fun fighter to watch. And I'm not knocking him. I appreciate the fact, because as a fan, as a fan of the sport and as a fan of his fighting style, okay, I appreciate that. But when it comes down to like, hey, you need to make proper decisions for your career after this. Like, hey, I want to keep making money, because the UFC now is going to start cutting him. They're going to start thinking, we pay this guy a ton of money. And just so you guys know, yes, I do know what he's getting paid. He's making a ton of money. They wanted to bring him over. The Bellator decided not to re-sign him. They just let him go off of his contract. UFC went, they paid a lot. They paid a lot of money for him to come over. So at this part of his career, he needs to get a win. You know, his one win over Dan Hooker, sure, it looked impressive, short fight. Then his loss to Charles Oliveira, everyone's losing to Charles Oliveira right now. No pain in that. But if he would have fought Justin Gaethje smart, I'm not saying he would have won, but it would have been a lot better of a fight for him in scenario situation had he wrestled early and tried to commit to those takedowns. Not just try to get takedowns when you were injured and hurt.
Josh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I had people telling me he did try to wrestle. It's like, no, he did not. He didn't
wrestle.
That is not trying a shot from afar is not you wrestling. Wrestling is something you commit to, and you are making it to where Justin Gaethje can't throw as much because he's having to now know every time this guy takes a step forward, he's looking to take me down. And you've got to just be committed to it. That would have been the smart game plan for Michael Chandler to win the fight against Gaethje. Gaethje pulled Chandler into exactly what he wanted, and that's a great job by Justin Gaethje in saying, "Hey, let's fight this stand-up fight. Let's go to war." The war is going to be won by the guy, that is used to that battle, and not that Mike cannot stand up and fight with someone, but when you have a skill set that is actually better than your opponent's, and you really don't go to it other than a couple times when you're in trouble, that's not being a smart fighter, and he didn't fight smart. And anytime you're walking forward with your hands down at your sides and letting a guy punch you in the face, if you got nothing against, as a fan, you liking that. I don't blame you. It's, wow, what? That's really cool. It's really cool, and it's really fucking stupid, because that is not how you win a fight. As cool as the fans think it is, the judges look and go, "Oh, you got hit twice." Okay, that's all they're doing. What you're giving it to your opponent. Every time he's doing the whole hand thing, come on, let's go. Hey, Justin was there to respond and say, okay. It's not like Justin was backing off of him. He was responding. So all of that doesn't do anything for you. It does things for the fans, but it doesn't do anything for you to win the fight. And there was a certain point in that fight, and it was after Michael got knocked on his ass with a good shot. He was hurt. And got to his knees and then dove for that single leg as far as to keep himself safe, which was smart. That was a good move. And then you see his head come out the side and he's sticking his tongue out. It's like, you're not thinking about winning this fight.
No.
You're not.
No, and there's been moments throughout my career where I was more entertained. I was trying to be more entertaining than I wasn't focused on winning. And if you go back, and I'll give you an example, you go back to because I had fucked up my hand on my thumb in the Benson fight.
Yep.
I think it was in the 4th round. I had his back. And instead of trying to fight vigorously to get the submission, I had his back, had one arm around his neck, and I'm over here cheering the crowd on. Stupid.
I remember
Just
that.
stupid. I wasted the time.
I wanted to tell you how stupid you were.
Yeah, I wasted the time in that moment to get the finish. And that, and in this situation, he was in no area to get the finish, obviously. Yeah. But I was more into getting the crowd going, getting them involved, and him looking to the side. They had a shot of his face on the big screen there. He's sticking his tongue out. He just got rocked. Now everyone's like, "Oh, see, he wrestled." No, wrestling when you're rocked is not wrestling. That's survival.
That's survival. Exact. Thank you very much.
Okay, and that's what the difference is. That kid can wrestle his ass off. If you guys go to watching some of the videos that he's posted, Kamaru Usman's posted when Usman was there at Stanford MMA, him and Usman had some great scrambles, some great goes, and him also wrestling with a bunch of other guys that were really good wrestlers as well. Watching them get after each other, him and Logan Storley, watching him wrestle, he is a phenomenal wrestler. And I think he's a way better wrestler than Justin Gaethje. But you would have never have thought that or never have ever assumed that watching him fight the other night. It just baffled me. It baffles me. It's always baffled me.
And it's no more than look at the takedown. When he did get he tried for the big slam, and that's okay. I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you need in that situation? You needed control. Instead, you went for amplitude and explosion and the boom of, let me slam him. How many times does a big slam stop the fight? But
very rare.
Putting Justin on his back and having him on his back and keeping him on his back will get you that round. And if he had done that, look, he had won the first round. I don't care what one of the judges said. He had won the first round.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Justin definitely won the second and the third round. And so, but in that position in the third round, hey, that could have been the difference maker. That's the difference in you winning the fight.
Exactly. Had he got the takedown and was able to posture up on him and do some work, and you never know, Justin Gaethje could have rolled up into a guillotine, and Michael Chandler's got one of the best arming guillotines and is really good on getting in the neck.
Yep.
So in that mixture, and you know that Gaethje, even though he was able to avoid a lot of submissions throughout his career, he's not the best grappler when it comes to jiu-jitsu. I mean, people out of his own camp say he never really trained jiu-jitsu. And we saw it when he fought Khabib. Now, I know it's Khabib, but we saw the transitions, the submissions, all those things were so easy for Khabib to get to. And I know it's Khabib, but Michael Chandler's nasty on the neck. And he could have, if he could have dominated the top position, I think he would have had a good chance. And going into that third round, the other two judges had it 29-28. So it was 28-28 going into the third round.
That's right.
So he could have won that fight.
Yep.
Almost knocked himself out with the amplitude slam, jumping him. Almost knocked himself out. Now that can happen, but he could have taken him down, controlled the position, got to the back, controlled the top position, ground and pounded him out in the guard, whatever it was. He could have done a lot in that fight to win that fight. I don't want to say he gave it away.
No, but he went for being exciting over being
over
smart.
The win.
That's right.
Over the win. Yep. Anyways, in terms of the Conor fight, I don't think it's never going to happen.
No.
It's never going to happen. So I'm not gonna, I really don't want to entertain it.
I don't think it is either.
All right. Next.
Instead, you just went on a 10-minute rant.
Well,
about Chandler's ability that he in his fight IQ is.
This is the reason why.
I've said it to his face.
This is the reason why. Let's talk about the Conor fight real quick. Michael Chandler is going to do exactly what he did with Justin Gaethje. He's not going to fight smart. He's not going to go in there to be Khabib and to take him down and to maul him on the ground. He's going to go in there to stand up and show how tough he is. And guess what the fuck's going to happen?
Yeah.
Conor's going to step back and break his ankle.
No, it's got a rod in there. He's bionic now.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to worry about that.
I don't think it's a fight that I just don't think. I mean, Chandler may lose again between now and then that fight's really gone. You know, if he doesn't lose again, he gets a win. You know, really got to see where he's at in the ranking system. You know, but he's coming off two losses.
In the UFC, he's 1-2.
Yeah, not a good look. All right. Anyways, next.
All right, the last story. So, a similar breath, not as subliminal as Michael Chandler's call out. Carla Esparza goes on Instagram and posts a really nice message to Rose. And she says, Rose, congratulations, Rose, on a fantastic victory, inspiring to so many, and I am truly happy for you. Fate had us cross paths when we created this division, and I'm proud that 7 years later, we are both still here at the top of it. This is not a call out or anything disrespectful. This is genuine respect. You deserve time to celebrate and enjoy this accomplishment. It will be an honor to run this back when you are ready. And then Rose goes on Ariel's show earlier today and says that's the only fight that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. It is the only fight that makes sense, but I could also see Marina Rodriguez jumping Carla Esparza.
Absolutely.
I could see that happening. You know, Marina coming off of a big win and, you know, against someone who's highly touted right now, Mackenzie Dern, and she made it look easy. And I could see them trying to hey, let's just leapfrog it and get her right to the title shot. And if she beats Rose, then maybe we have Carla and Rose fight to see who fights next for the title. Something along those lines I could see, but I think they're going to have Marina jump Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza, can you pull up the rankings, Dave, for me, please? If Carla Esparza, she's number 1, I believe.
2.
She's number 2. Probably, maybe even Weili Zhang. That's a fight they may have her fight. Carla, look, because she wrestles so much, she slows down. And so if you have Carla Esparza and Weili Zhang fight in a 5-round fight, I think Weili Zhang beats her. In a 3-round fight, Carla may be able to wrestle fuck her to death. You know what I mean? And get on top of her, put some work on her, get her down. But Carla's not a physically strong and dominating fighter. She's a good wrestler. But Weili Zhang, her size, she seems extremely strong.
Physically strong, yeah.
Physically strong, yeah. When you go back and you watch what she did to Jessica Andrade against the fence, where she elbowed her in the face like multiple times, chased her down, that fight was very, it said a lot about how she can handle strength and how she can handle someone like a Jessica Andrade. She's going to be able to handle Carla Esparza. And so I think if they were to put Weili Zhang against somebody, Carla Esparza and her, it'd probably be those two, and then Marina Rodriguez jumps her because of the way she's been looking lately. I really believe that's what's going to happen.
I look at it and I don't think the UFC looks at Carla like, look, she was the very first strawweight champion, but I don't think they look at her like that's the champion that, we want to have, as far as we like the way she fights. We like her style. Like they like Weili Zhang and they like her style. They love Rose Namajunas and they love her style. And you could say the same thing for a couple of others. They like Marina Rodriguez. She's a banger and she goes out there to put people away. Where Carla it's a slower fight. She's a harder style to sell to the fans based upon what she does. So, in looking at, well, who do we want to put? What's an easier fight to sell? Well, I can understand selling the Carla Esparza versus Rose because Carla beat Rose. That's how Carla became the champion. So, there is a storyline there and you can make it happen, but you can also say the fight that is going to be the better fight, the more interesting fight, the fight that's going to be technically good, but also, probably a knockout, for one person, it's probably going to be the Rose versus Marina fight. So I agree with you. I think they're looking to jump Marina over Carla, and they might put Carla against Weili Zhang and see what happens with that.
Yeah, or I could see them maybe having Mackenzie Dern fight Carla Esparza. That'd be a dick move to do. That'd be a real dick move to do.
Well, it would be one of those. Now what do you do? Do you wrestle?
Yeah, you don't wrestle. Absolutely not.
That's the whole point.
Fucking run. Run on your feet and punch. That's what you do. You stay the fuck off the ground with that girl.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, hey, that pretty much wraps up our show for tonight. We're going to head
Hold
over.
on, Josh.
Hold on, Josh.
Hold on.
This is episode 200. So, yes, this is normally where we would wrap up the show.
Oh, I like this. Look at Dave taking charge.
I am going to interject before we go and actually film an So I just wanted to share a quick little experience. We are celebrating 200 shows. It's been an amazing journey. The other night I was standing in line getting dinner, and this guy was in front of me, for like 15 minutes, turned around and saw my shirt, and he's like, oh, is that John and Josh's podcast? And I was like, yeah, I'm the producer and editor for the show, and he's like, dude, I love that podcast, man. They are just full of knowledge. I listen to it every single week. I've been listening for a long time. I really love it. Can I give you a question to pose to Big John and Josh for your fan question show? And so I would say that those are kind of hit and miss depending on when we do them. But I would throw this in. And so, John, I'm going to throw this more so to you real quick. Josh, you can chime in.
Okay.
It's more around the rules. So Kerry, who I met the other night, he asked the question about putting your hands on the ground. Is that part of the unified rules, right?
To be a grounded
fighter?
fighter?
On the ground? Yeah, to be a grounded fighter.
Yeah. The one hand on the ground.
He said that it's a defensive tactic and not like a martial art. And he's
right.
He's asking, can that be considered in future discussions to be eliminated?
You're saying as far as putting one hand down?
To avoid being kneed in the face.
Man, there's been so many things that have happened with the grounded fighter, and it's become such a hot, potato as far as the way people look at it, and there's all kinds of opinions on it, and I'm not going to say who's right and who's wrong. What I am going to say is this: it's been batted around. It was changed. We at one time we put it to where you had to put 2 hands down, and that was to try to get people to stop doing it. It wasn't to say, oh, we want you to put 2 hands to the ground. It was, hey, if you want to be a grounded fighter, put your knee down to the ground and keep your hands up to protect yourself. Don't put your hands down to the ground. So then there was a change of it based upon the ABC and people in the ABC kind of separating and coming together. Well, if you put that back as one hand, we'll come back together. And so they put it back to one hand. That rule has been a mess. Do I think that they could do it where you could say that, oh, you can't put your hand down to be defensive and keep yourself from being kneed? No, they're not going to be able to do that based upon now you're forcing the referee into a position to call whether the fighter did it on their own or was forced by pressure, and so their hand went out based upon that pressure. And you're going to be having people that are be complaining about, no, I was forced down, and and the referee saying, no, you placed your hand down. It's just not a good position to be. If they could change the entire grounded fighter rule, it would be great. But to say that you're going to be able to take away the hand thing, if they took away saying, hey, just putting your hand to the ground will not make you grounded in any fashion. You have to have your body in some fashion, be it knee, be it arm, be it, elbow, back, butt, and simply the hands do not do it. That would be the way to do it. But to sit there and say that, that to me, and that would be the only way to really have it done. And I don't think that's going to happen.
There you go, Kerry.
Yep. Though since John got to answer a question, I actually had someone ask me a question too that was very interesting that I completely had forgot about. His name is Suhail Hamed. He's hit me up in my DMs and he says, how come in your first fight in the UFC, they introduced you as 22-1? He's like, I listened to your guys' pod for the longest time now. He's like, but I just would like an explanation for this situation.
That's good.
John, the reason why is because these websites were not around. And at the time, camcorders and phones and stuff were very expensive. Phones weren't irrelevant. Like they weren't even around. Camera phones and all that stuff. So I had no footage of the actual fights. So when you fought like King of the Cage, that stuff went to DVDs. And so you could sometimes pick it up and your fight was on it and you got to go ahead and use that footage. But back in 97, 98, when I was fighting, not all of us took camcorders, and the promotion always said, yeah, we have it on film. We're going to send you a copy. You never got the copy. So they basically had your record based off of whatever fights you could prove you had. Well, I already had a ton of fights before I got to the UFC. And like I said before, it was Trevor, myself, and a couple of us other guys, Ray Roth and all of us, we'd drive every weekend and try and fight as much as we could, and sometimes Montana, Washington, Oregon, a couple times in Utah, and so it's like we were driving wherever we could to get fights. And in this circuit was like Misha Tate, Benji Raddick, Dennis Holman, there was a ton of other fighters that were up in that area that we all used to just cross paths and we train together and fight together and on the same cars. We all knew of each other, but the footage we never got. And so you couldn't actually put a fight on your record that you couldn't prove that you had and that you won. And so that's why my record said 22-1, because I had a bunch of fights before the websites were around. And then once the websites did come around, if you didn't have the footage, you couldn't have your record on there, couldn't put it on your record. So that's why my record is what it is now versus what it was then. Hopefully I answered your question.
I think that what people don't understand is, first off, the sport's real young. Still is. Okay. It hasn't been around that long. And when we talk about having, there was no database back then. Okay. I know that sounds weird, but there was no database for fighting as far as MMA where you could go and find fights that people had and see them. Because if you look at Jeremy Horn, all right, if you look at Jeremy Horn's record, it's going to be somewhere on close to 100 wins, probably 25 losses. I don't know, probably a bunch of ties, because back then there was ties. What is it?
92 and 22.
92 and 22 is what they say. Okay. I guarantee you he's had over 200 fights.
Yeah.
Okay. I watched Jeremy Horn fight in metal buildings, garage warehouses, and stuff like that where there's no record of it and everything. So this is part of, the beginning of the sport. You'll see guys that, had fights that you knew it, you watched it, and there's no record of it. So that happened all the time. Josh is being as honest as he can be. The UFC, when Josh gives them their record, then it's switched over time. They said, we got to have these verified. And if it wasn't in the database, which was brand new, and you can look at, like, there's different databases for, MMA now. There's multiple ones, but at the time there wasn't anything.
Well, look up Travis Fulton. Remember him?
Oh my God, Travis would have 300,
200, 300 fights.
300
I think he finally said he hit 300 fights.
Yeah, well,
and a lot of those fights were way before there was ever any record.
Travis Fulton fought sometimes 255 wins, 305. There you go. And Travis was, you figure, he also had 10 draws.
That's unheard of.
Well, Travis, at that, what's unheard of, you can take a look. That's 300 MMA fights. He also had at least 50 boxing matches, at least, because I refereed him in boxing, and he used to go and travel and do a fight on Friday night, a fight on Saturday night, drive, cross country. He never flew anywhere, and he would just drive all over and do fights. So usually 2 times. And if you look at the beginning of his list there, it probably has, fights, on one day, and then the next day another fight in a different one. So he did that all the time. That's why he was called the Iron Man.
Yeah, promoters back then didn't know you were fighting the night before, so they would just book you. There was no, like John said, there was no database to say, like, oh yeah, he's gonna be fighting in this organization on Friday, and then he's gonna come fight for us.
That's right.
No way. What if you get hurt? How are we gonna bank you as the main event? But back then, there was no database for it, and then on top of it,
no regulation.
You guys got to remember when Jeremy Horn came back to fight Chuck Liddell for the second time in the UFC. He didn't want to come back and fight him until they paid him a ton more money, because he was fighting every weekend, making 15, 20 grand for that main event fight slot. And he was fighting bums.
Yep.
He's like, why would I go fight Chuck Liddell when I'm making, in 1 month, I'm making 100 grand fighting 4 fights against bums, guys that come off the bar stool. He's like, why would I go get knocked out by Chuck Liddell or go fight Chuck Liddell, for 100 grand when I can make 100 grand in a month? Didn't make any sense. So it was, I understood that process, but this is where the sport has really come a long way, And so when we talk to you guys about, what's it called? The fighters getting paid more money in the union, all those things. Like John just said, it's a really young sport. Look at how long football's been around. Look at, they're just finally getting to the bigger numbers for some of these top athletes. And sure, they're making millions, but you got to look at some of the beginning guys. They're still making $350 or $450, and that's a lot still. I understand that's a lot of money, but they're also playing for 16, 17, 18 weeks if they're on a good team, and they're putting in the work every single day. Fighting is, you're not putting in the work. You are putting in the work every day, but you're not fighting every day. You're fighting 2, maybe 3 times at the most in a year. So they're not getting banged up as much. Sure, they're training, but they know when to train hard, when not to, once you get to a certain level. Anyways, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing-in. Use the promo code ANDSTILL. You guys, hashtag ANDSTILL every single time you guys hit a comment. Hashtag ANDSTILL. But go to ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing-in. Use the promo code ANDSTILL. Get a little extra cash off. What is it, 20% off, I believe?
Yep.
Pick up one of our shirts. And, hey, after this week, John and I will be in Florida after this week, and then I'm going to sit down with Dave. We're going to come up with a couple new design logos for some of these new shirts. Want a couple new ones. So
we do need some new
going to add some flavor to it.
I've got a new shirt that I'm going to have.
Oh, Jesus.
It's going to have Josh on it. It's awesome.
It's so funny.
He knows what picture it is.
I told Louise Mickey, I said, hey, girl, I'm coming for your job. I'm coming for your job. She's a stud. All right. Well, hey, hope you guys enjoyed this show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, hit the little link down below in our main YouTube channel, and that link takes you to our Clips channel, which is where we will be filming our next Wayne interjection, which will be dropping later on this week. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe and the bell so you can stop sliding in my DMs asking me when we're going to drop. And John, take us away, buddy.
To everyone out there that has hung with us, has started with us, has been with us for 200 episodes, man, thank you so much. We hope you enjoy, and we appreciate you tuning in and listening to us all the time. And we will now close out number 200 with a see you guys later.
See ya.
Like that.